Today we are celebrating Veterans Day. Veterans Day is traditionally recognized annually on November 11th and is the day we support our fellow Americans who have so proudly served our country in the armed forces. America has survived many battles fought bravely by our men and women in uniform. It is these men and women, both past and present, we should remember and thank by honoring them on this day.
Veterans Day was originally called Armistice Day because it marked the one-year anniversary of the temporary end of hostilities between the Allied nations and Germany during World War I. That armistice went into effect of the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower changed the name for Armistice Day to Veterans Day so it would honor all veterans rather than commemorate the end of a single war. In 1780, the American patriot, Thomas Paine, wrote these words, "These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in these crises, shrink from the service of their country. But he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman." And now Jack Young will read a poem titled The Unknown Soldier by Melvin B. Tolson.
I was a Minuteman at Concord Bridge. I was a frigate gunner on Lake Erie. I was a mortarman at Stony Ridge. I fought at San Juan Hill and Chateau Thierry. I braved Corregidor in the Arctic Sea. The index finger brings democracy. These states bred freedom in and in my bone, old as the New Testament of Plymouth Bay, when the founding fathers laid the cornerstone and rued the 13 clocks that would not say the hour on the hour. I nerved myself with them, under the noose in the hand of the tyrant's whim. I've seen the alien ships of destiny plow the sea mountains between the hemispheres. I've seen the Gulf Stream of our history, littered with derelicts of corsair careers. I've heard the watchmen cry, the bars, when midnight held the funeral of stars. I saw horizontal states grow vertical, from Plymouth Harbor to the Golden Gate, till wedged against skyscapes imperial, their glories elbowed the decrees of fate. These states bred freedom in and in my bone. I hymn their virtues and their sins atone. The tares and wheat grow in the selfsame field, the rose and thorn companion on the bush, the oil and gravel cuddle in the yield, the oil and grit and dirt together gush, the Gordian knot to be or not to be, snares not the free. My faith props the tomorrows, for I know the root of liberty, tough-fibered, feed on the blood of tyrants and martyrs. The Judas blow torches the branches till they twist and bleed, and yet no Caesar, vitamined on loot, can liberty uproot. I am the unknown soldier. I open doors to the rights of man. Letters incarnadine. These shrines of freedom are mine as well as yours. These ashes of freemen, yours as well as mine. My troubled ghost shall haunt these states, nor cease till the global war becomes a global peace.
Thank you for coming in and agreeing to do this interview with me. So, Papa, what branch of the military did you serve in?
The United States Air Force.
And how long were you in the Air Force?
16 years, 5 months, 21 days.
So, did you decide to join the Air Force, or did someone encourage you? How did that come about?
Actually, a recruiter came during like career day and the day that college recruiters were coming. And I talked to a recruiter and I thought it was an opportunity for me to be able to travel and have a job and a little adventure. So I talked to the recruiter and decided that I was going to talk to him again later on, but set up a meeting and then I joined and decided to forego college until later.
Did you travel often and relocate?
Quite a bit, not as much as I probably could have depending on the career field that I was in, but my first duty station was in Blytheville, Arkansas, which is not too far away. And because I figured I would probably be a little homesick, even though I filled out what's called a dream sheet. And on my dream sheet, all the places were overseas, and I got none of them. I got stuck in Blytheville, Arkansas, luckily for only a couple of years, and then I got an assignment to Alaska.
How did relocating and traveling so often affect your family?
Well, early on, because we were so young, it was like an adventure and so forth. And so it was fun, actually. And then in the later years, it got harder with children going to school and making friends and stuff like that. But I think it was a good adventure for them also.
So how would you say your time in the military affected your life?
It was pretty profound. I was talking to my wife last night, and I told her, I said, you know, having been in the military was kind of strange when I got out, because I had gone in as a young adult, just starting out my adult life. And so by the time I got out, that's all I had known. And so I kind of missed it, because, you know, the camaraderie and the friendships that you build. But I had no idea about the civilian world in terms of working and job searching and all those kinds of things. So it was a lot of fun, but it was kind of strange when I got out, because I was like, now I got to go out into the real world, and you know, it's a dog-eat-dog world kind of thing. But it was a lot of fun while I was in.
So while you were in the military, what were some of your best memories?
The traveling and meeting people from all over the world, and recognizing that no matter where you're from, it was almost, people were basically the same. You know, the languages may have been different, you know, their faith may have been different, but ultimately people just wanted to have a life for themselves, you know, to have a job and raise their family and have a good life for their children, you know. And it didn't matter who it was or where they were from. It was almost like, it was no different than America. And so that was really the most profound thing, and just the traveling and seeing something different, even throughout the United States, you know. Strangely enough, it's like a whole bunch of different little countries within the country, depending on what state you're in too. So.
Any profound hardships?
Yeah, once I got injured, that was psychologically really hard, because I couldn't do the things I was used to doing, athletics and those kinds of things. And I knew from the extent of my injury that I was probably my military career was going to be coming to an end. And plus the times when I was traveling without my family, that was kind of tough too. When you're away from your family, emotionally it's pretty draining and exhausting.
What advice would you give to someone looking to join the military?
Well, my first advice would be, if they're not really looking to continue their education, especially young adults coming right out of high school, I would advise them to look into possibly serving in one of the branches of the military, or some other opportunity in government service, where they have a chance to travel and meet new people and learn about new things about how the government works and so forth. There's a lot of opportunities out there, but the military, the Air Force slogan used to be, it's not just a job, it's an adventure. Well, it actually is not just a job, it was an adventure, and I'm pretty sure most of the other branches are similar. And it's a good opportunity for young people to see the world, experience life that's bigger than oneself in their little local area, you know, because a lot of people never get a chance to travel beyond their local community and maybe within their state. But when you see people from other parts of your own country and other parts of the world, it's really enlightening, and I think it helps you grow as a person.
Thank you so much, Papa, for coming
My
in
pleasure.
and sharing your time.
Thank you.
More than 1 million American service members died in the service of this country. More than 1.4 million lived with the wounds they suffered while fighting for us. More than 19 million former service members are still living today. They are the special group of Americans we call veterans. Today we honor them and say thank you for serving. We will present pictures that students and staff have submitted of their veterans while the Armed Forces medley plays. While Veterans Day is typically a tribute to America's living veterans, it is always appropriate to include a moment of respect for those who gave their lives for our country.
Let us take a few minutes to remember the soldiers who have fallen in service for our country.
We'd like to say a huge thank you to all of our student council members who contributed to this video, and a special thank you to Anna Ramirez who helped organize and create the video. We'd also like to thank the band and choir for their special performances and any student or staff who contributed information on their veterans.
We will now end our program with the band and choir joining together to sing United We Stand.